Long beans are getting to the point where they're going to start climbing. So I need to tighten up this strands on this trellis. I'm just using regular wire on here, regular steel wire. And you have to do this probably once a year. Good and tight there. It's tighten off. And just go up whichever one's loose. You want to tighten them up so they're good and tight. And then wherever you got one coming up, I usually just tie a string down to them. Give them a little helper. Because they'll grab onto whatever's closest to them and start climbing. One right there. Now you don't need to wrap it around the plant, just kind of, not yet anyway. That one's still pretty small. So I'm just going to leave it right there. And as the bean starts to grow, it'll grab a hold of that and pull itself up. So that one there has got a stick hanging over it, so it should be fine. There's one coming up here, so I'll put a little string there. So when it comes up, it'll grab a hold of it. These things finally started to come up, and they're the kind of things that when it gets hot out, they'll start growing like crazy. They really love the hot weather. So that one there, and just kind of watch them as they start to grow. You'll just, as it starts to grow, like this one here, once it gets so high, it'll climb on up that stick there. And really, that's about it. Guess I'll do the rest of these. That one will already be fine. I'm going to put one here next to it where that one's coming up. Now the spacing on these long beans, you can put them pretty close together. I've run them at 6 inches apart before, and they do just fine like that. You don't need to put any really any fertilizer to them, at least no nitrogen anyway. If you put too much nitrogen on them, they tend to grow lots of leaves and no beans. They still need their phosphorus and potassium. So if you want to run like a 8, 12, 12 or something like that, or even less than that, I mean really you don't need any nitrogen at all. You just run a potassium and phosphorus, and I typically don't fertilize beans at all. If I do a soil test and check them, and I know the soil back here has plenty of phosphorus in it. In fact, it's got entirely too much. But do a soil test, and if they're not going to tell you how much nitrogen you need, but they'll tell you that phosphorus is really high or potassium's good. And potassium was good down here last time I had a soil test. legumes like peas, beans, really don't need any nitrogen to them. Like I said, you're just kind of killing yourself, you're just wasting nitrogen because these are nitrogen fixing plants. That'll be fine there. And I'm not going to put any down there until those beans actually start to emerge. And then as the year goes by, I think I already did the tops up here. Tops are good. Actually, I need to finish putting the rest of the rows of wire up top here. I've only got it going to right here, and really I need to put the rest of the eyelets in here and run it all the way out over the top here, because they'll grow up, and the idea is they grow up and then the beans will hang down. You just kind of train them when they're growing, and the beans will grow down over top of it. And you just walk up under here and pick them. So I need to put probably three or four more strands of wire across here up the top. And we'll go with that. That's our beans. So long beans anyway. So remember, no nitrogen. They need a trellis, and no matter what kind of trellis you use. I think over at the old house, I didn't even use. I started off, I had 4 rows, probably about twice as long as this. So probably about 12 foot long, that were strung like this with wire. And then I did 2 more rows, but instead of doing wire, because I ran out of wire, but I had some hog panels for hog fence used, old nasty looking things, and put those up, and those actually work better than this. So cattle panel, hog panel, wire fence. If you can find them used, that's great, because they've gotten kind of expensive. Everything's gotten expensive, even wire. Let me tell you something about this wire here. Well, not this particular wire, but at the old house, probably when I first put those up, it was probably 20 years ago. I went to the hardware store, local hardware store, Pope's Hardware in Coates, North Carolina, and bought a roll of wire. Made in the USA. And it was, something like $15, $12, $15, something like that. It was cheap. And then I needed more wire. So I went back to Pope's again, because it's, less than a mile down the road. Went there to buy wire, and they had wire, different company, made in China. And it was like $40 for the same size wire, same different manufacturer, but same gauge wire, same length. So it was more than twice as, just say twice as expensive as the made in the USA stuff. Anyway, regardless, just wire fence. You can use those. I did try those rope netting, and rope netting is cheap. It'll last about 2 years. This stuff, this steel, galvanized steel wire, fence wire, that stuff will last, 20, 30, 40 years, whatever. And it's a lot stronger doing it this way than with the rope netting. But rope netting's cheaper. It's just twine that's, you see how this is? It's just like that, but the whole thing be made out of twine. And it's pre-made, so you just put it on a post and string it along there and tack it on the other side. That being said, you got plants that are heavy, they'll pull on that rope netting. So really, the rope netting, you still need to run like a top strand of wire to stiffen it up. Probably one at the bottom, one in the middle. So you still need 3 strands of wire to hold that thing up, at least to do a good job if you got a long run of it. But that's our beans. I'm going to shut up now and go do some other stuff. I need to finish watering out here and probably set up my trellis for my upo gourd, bottle gourds that are over there on the other side of that, right at the edge of the woods. And I'll do those after a while. Had the water this morning. It was supposed to rain last night, calling for 90% chance of rain. 90% at like 3 o'clock in the morning. No rain whatsoever. And I had put down calcium on everything yesterday, or gypsum, basically calcium on everything last night before I went in the house, expecting it to rain. And of course it didn't rain, so I had to come out this morning and water that gypsum in. It's pelletized gypsum, calcium for everything, because we definitely lacking calcium down here. And it shows. And the next up, I'll have to do the magnesium, because soil tests showed magnesium's lacking down here. And I can tell you that nightshade plants really suffer from lack of magnesium. Something to do with you can have all the calcium in the world, but unless the plants have magnesium, magnesium actually allows the plant to absorb the calcium. Without a symbiotic relationship between the two, you could have calcium out the yin yang, and the plant ain't gonna suck it up if it ain't got no magnesium. So anyway, I'm rambling. So that's our beans there. Let me go get these posts, get them in the ground, string some wire over there for the bottle gourd. Guys, take care. If you like my content, please subscribe, like, share, comment, all that jazz. And that's it.